Hello and welcome. My name is Evgeny Rusakov and you're watching TVP World interview from Vilnius. According to a recently made survey, about 17% of Lithuanians do not activate flight mode when flying. In other words, if the plane has 180 seats, around 30 passengers will not be in flight mode. To discuss if that is really dangerous and what other things people should know while traveling by airplanes, we are joined today by the Chief Executive Officer at Global eSIM Service Saily, Vykintas Maknickas. Vykintai, thank you for joining us today, sir. Glad to see you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's make it clear that that was your survey. That was the one that your company made, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's first then start with myth busting. There are myths that signals picked up by mobile phones in flight can interfere with navigation systems. But this is not entirely true. So the thing that hooked me up in that sentence was not entirely true. So to what extent is this true, and what should we be really afraid of?
So first of all, planes don't crash just because someone left airplane mode off during
That's
flight.
Good news. Okay.
That's good news because quite a few people don't turn on airplane mode while flying, and usually it's only bad for them instead of the plane. The plane is tested and basically it doesn't require you to turn on airplane mode because it doesn't interfere with majority of the systems. There are rare cases when it do, but you know, if the planes would crash just because of that, we would see quite a lot of crashes out there. Also, it's more like a recommendation to turn on airplane mode, and it is so because people the phone itself, it connects to the tower, and the further the tower is, the more energy needed on the phone in order to connect to the tower.
Okay.
So basically, if you don't turn on airplane mode, it uses way more battery, and this can damage your battery.
Okay, so that's the main deal, right?
Yes.
Were there any cases when mobile phones were the real reason for plane crashing, or I don't know, anything with interference into the systems or anything like that?
So planes are tested against it. That's why, you know, we don't see such cases because of thorough testing before they let planes operate. So we shouldn't see any cases because, you know, this specific case is covered during the plane testing.
Okay, brilliant. So that's a myth, right?
Yeah.
And we just busted it.
Yes.
Brilliant. Let's go on. Let's go on. Okay, so again, experts warn that using a mobile phone in flight mode, in flight, is more harmful to the mobile phone than the aircraft itself. So why is that so? Is that just because of the battery, or there's something else?
It's mostly about the battery, you know, just because you need way more energy to connect to the tower that's further away. And when you start flying, the tower disconnects and the phone itself continues to search for another tower, this way using more energy than it used to use. So basically, this searching for tower is using your battery and damaging your battery at the same time because of how much usage it costs.
Okay, okay. And how about all those waves that, I don't know, that we don't see, that mobile phones use or anything they're connecting with the tower? Is this any dangerous for passengers in the plane?
It shouldn't be, no.
Okay, okay. So that's another myth just busted right now.
Exactly.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, let's come back to your press release. So while reading it, I was really surprised with the fact that the people who dislike flight mode the most are seniors. That's very strange, to be honest, but according to your survey, that's the way it is. So why is that? What's your take on this?
So my take is basically the less frequent people fly, the more the less they remember the requirements of the flight, the rules, and so on. So that's why, you know, if senior people fly a bit less than the youngsters, I think, you know, they just forget that they need to activate airplane mode more often.
Okay, what should be done in this case then? Just informing them what's the best way to deal with those seniors?
So during the flight, before taking off and before landing, you are reminded about all the rules. So the best way to address it is to basically listen to all the rules and requirements before the flight. Listen to your flight attendant and what they are saying to you before the flight or before landing, because this is the critical part of the flight, both landing and taking off. So you should probably make it a priority to listen to the requirements and rules.
Okay, how about then, I'm just wondering now, how about all those president's planes where they have all those facilities? How about that?
No, so currently quite a few
because most of the presidents are seniors. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So quite a few planes out there, they do have some sort of connection. Usually it's through space, and basically they can have internet service, and you can connect to internet while being on the flight. The main thing is to basically pay attention during takeoff and during landing, and try not to work on something on the side, try not to use your devices, and instead, listen to flight attendants and try and make the best of it. Statistics are on my side because it shows that people who listened to the instructions carefully are better at evacuating, better at responding to unexpected situations during the flight. So basically, it helps you. These instructions are designed in order to help you and in order to improve probability of you not having any issues during the flight or after it. So it just, it makes sense to pay attention during that time.
By the way, one interesting fact that I pointed out while reading your survey is that younger people, they mostly turn on that flight mode regime during while they're on board. What's here? Is it just because they literally know how to use their phones? Again, coming back to those seniors, is it just computer and smartphones, lack of literacy, or what's this?
Yeah, so one thing to note is that probably young people are a bit better at navigating phones themselves and know the functions a bit better. They know about the flight mode even before their first flight. So I guess one of the reasons why they are a bit more understanding of this rule is because they understand the settings themselves and how they work.
Brilliant. So should those youngsters that probably will watch this interview, should they, in case they travel somewhere, they should ask for if they can be helpful to any seniors that sit right next to them?
Exactly. So people who know how to turn on airplane mode, they can definitely help you turn on the airplane mode as well.
Well, I am, to be honest, I am the one who switches the flight mode on as soon as we get into the plane. And I'm just wondering now if that is okay to switch it off when I just landed, or should I wait till the plane stops and we are allowed to unfasten our seatbelts?
I think you should be good to turn it off while still riding the plane, except, majority of the airports don't have a good quality connection there. So once you get to the airport itself, then you should be able to connect. But before that, there's most of the time there's no connection there.
Do you think that maybe airports should just literally have those things that block all the possible signals of any phone?
Oh,
would
no,
would that be a solution?
That would be very dangerous,
Oh, really? Okay, why is that?
Because the planes themselves still need to communicate.
Okay.
Both between one another and with towers.
Okay, no, I'm just talking. Are they working on the same frequency as mobile phones? So that's
they are working on a different frequency, but in order to block certain frequencies, you would most likely interfere with another one. So it would be dangerous.
Okay. So okay, I see. Well, Well, that's the thing that I would probably offer, but okay.
Yeah.
That was a bad idea. Okay, let's move on. Okay, again, your survey. So another interesting fact that was mentioned there in your survey is that men are more likely than women to ignore airline security rules. How would you explain this? I myself do switch that flight mode as soon as I sit in the plane. I guess you do the same thing. So what's wrong with those men?
I don't think it's something wrong in particular, but rather, people are different, and some people like to follow the rules, other people like to
acting bad boys.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
So again, on one hand, we have all those restrictions, but on the other, some airlines offer their passengers Wi-Fi on board during the flight. So how does all that work together, and what should people know about this in specific?
Yeah, so Wi-Fi works on a bit different frequency, and Wi-Fi by itself doesn't interfere with the plane as well. It's also tested before letting planes operate, so there shouldn't be any issues using plane Wi-Fi while you're flying.
But again, some people with some dodgy things on their minds could use those Wi-Fi to, I don't know, to steal. How about cybersecurity in this regard?
Like always, while using Wi-Fi, we usually recommend using some sort of VPN, so you wouldn't be susceptible to some cybersecurity attacks in particular. But at the same time, if the Wi-Fi is provided by the airline, there shouldn't be any problems.
It should be secure.
It should be, but again, additional measures are always recommended.
Okay. What additional measures do you think? What would you mention? Because, well, it's a summertime, let's be honest, and people will go traveling. And again, the last time we spoke with you, you've mentioned the fact that even though you're going on holiday, you should be cautious. People, when they go on holidays, they are not really cautious about anything. So here's the thing. How does this all work together?
So VPN can offer end-to-end encryption from your phone to the destination on the internet you're trying to query. That's why, Wi-Fi provider wouldn't be able to see your internet traffic. That's why we recommend using VPN all the time, so your connection would be private from anyone, not just basically, if the router is configured incorrectly somehow, your connection won't be interfered with if you would use VPN. So this is the measure that we usually recommend to people while using any Wi-Fi, not just the one on the airplane. So the airplane or not, use a VPN.
What other things would you, as a cybersecurity expert, just advise to people that will definitely go on holidays during this summertime and forget about being cautious?
So one thing to note is that while on holiday, you usually visit websites you don't visit otherwise. What that means is, if you need to buy some sort of ticket while on a foreign country, you will need to visit a website you are visiting first time. That's why we also recommend use some sort of threat protection which blocks malicious websites and phishing websites and so on. So you wouldn't visit the website that's incorrect, or if you misspell the website and there will be a malicious one, you wouldn't be able to visit it in the first place because some sort of threat protection should block it.
So literally during the holiday, relax, but stay cautious, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really hope to see you once again with the next very important topic.
Thank you.
And I would like to remind our viewers that our guest for today was a Chief Executive Officer at Global eSIM Service Saily, Vykintas Maknickas. You're watching TVP World. Stay with us.